This is the Magic Our Way podcast with my mutants, Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Lee. They're cut above the rest, bub. You're the best there is at what you do. And what you do is pretty nice.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante San, everyone. You are listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it, feel it.
We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff, and this is a show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. For this show, we present a review of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. And look, this is your typical polished, practiced, pixie dust and Disney podcast. No, sir. We are not in the parks every day trying to tell you how the new Kang walk-around face character is doing at Disney California Adventure Park.
That's right, Kev. We're to drink, talk some Disney, and look out for the little guy.
That's right, because that's what family's about. So while we keep drinking, you just keep on thinking.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And Lee, with your weekly reminder to book with me in 23.
So guys, looking up for our jibber jabber, let's go review Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Ha-ha.
Man, it's been a while since we've heard that music, huh?
Yes.
And that only means only one thing, man. It's time for another Marvel moment. But in fact, we are doing a Marvel review. And what we are reviewing is the next installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. This movie is the beginning of Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we're here to talk about, to see how things went, our feelings about it. It's been a while since we've done one of these reviews. And so we figure since this is the beginning of the next phase, we ought to at least give it a shot.
Yeah.
And so, as always, what we'll do with these reviews is we'll start off with a non-spoiler version, and then shortly after, we'll quickly transition into the spoiler-filled version. So those that haven't seen the movie, we'll give you ample warning. You can hit pause, stop, and then go watch the movie, and then come back and finish listening to our show to see if your thoughts correlate with ours. So, Eli, as our Marvel guru, should take the helm on this, I think. Yes?
Okay, yeah.
So, Quantumania, sir. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's Phase 5. What do you think, sir?
Quantumania running wild, brother.
Yes.
I would say this. I would say that it's definitely a fun cast. It was cool to see those people on the screen and then being introduced to a couple of new villains and so what they were trying to do with the world. I get that. But I think that the length of time grew a little too big, probably bigger than Ant-Man himself for me. And I think there was a lot of crazy filler in it that I think if certain things could have been kind of boiled a little bit more small and shrunk to size, I think you'd have had a lot more of a solid movie and story. I kind of felt like this was like IP hijacking. Kind of like, if there was like Superman 2, but then you had like Batman versus Superman and throwing all these crazy things in between. Mm-hmm. I kind of felt it was like this crazy gumbo of a movie. It did not.
Gumbo.
That's the most fun way I could put it without getting into crazy details since we're keeping
I like gumbo.
I do too.
I love gumbo.
But sometimes you get ingredients in gumbo that you're used to eating that you're like, wow, that don't taste like the gumbo it's supposed to.
Carrots?
And sometimes you don't want to know what's in that gumbo.
That's true. Yes, that's true. So, and then in some parts of it, I felt that they were trying to force a certain formula that I don't think this movie needed. So I think it has a good core to it, but there's just too much filler around it. Mm-hmm. Let's go with
like
that.
A jelly donut.
Yeah, jelly did not do much for me.
Did not.
Yeah.
Did not.
I like jelly donuts too.
Yeah.
Why don't we let Lee go next?
Lee. What do you think, sir?
So I would just say a couple of thoughts that I had right off the top of my head was I like the first Ant-Man better than this one, but only it just seemed like a more fun movie, the first Ant-Man, right? I didn't get to see the second one, the Wasp, so had nothing to compare that to. This one just seemed like a little more serious. There was some funny parts. There was a couple little jokes here and there, but it wasn't as quote unquote fun as the first Ant-Man. Like I had a really good time watching the first Ant-Man. Had no expectations, didn't know anything about Ant-Man, and just really thought that was a really fun movie. Whereas this one, I liked it, but it just was a lot more serious in nature than the first Ant-Man. Not necessarily that that's good or bad, just an observation. Did I feel like I got my $10 worth? Yeah, I thought like, okay, I was entertained, but I would agree with Eli in the fact that this did not need to be a 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like that was just a little too much for me. I didn't feel like they needed that much time to explain this whole story. A couple just other random thoughts, like I don't know that much about Kang, so I don't know like if this story was true to his, like when you guys are more familiar with the comic books and like your interpretation of that villain and things like that, but he wasn't quite as a badass as I thought he was going to be. And I don't want to get to the spoiler part of that, but it was just like, oh, okay, like I see who this dude is. I was expecting more. Like Thanos was like, wow, that dude is a real freaking villain, man. Like that guy was serious. Whereas Kang was just like, oh, he's just like a regular dude with a lot of power, but he didn't really like seem that menacing to me. So again, I don't know if that's how he is in the comic books or if it just was like the translation into the movie, but I didn't feel like he was like a super villain, which was I thought was like what he was built up to be. Overall, though, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a good time. I would definitely, recommend anyone that's a Marvel fan or a Disney fan to see it. So I thought it was enjoyable in that aspect.
Cool. Okay. All right. So my thoughts on this. I had a lot of hope. I tend to be a little bit more positive with this, at least start positive with these things before I go wherever I go. But there was a lot of hope that this maybe would right the ship.
But the Pims are your people.
The Pims are my people. I still hang on that.
Yeah.
It's still kind of weird to me. And, I mean, he's in the trailers, but MODOK's there. So that threw a wrench into me, which I could speak of a little bit later in the spoilers section. But that threw a bit of a wrench, only from what I know about MODOK. Just whatever. I don't know. But there's a lot of hope for me that I wanted this movie to do right the ship and maybe get back on that Kang storyline, which we haven't heard much of since since Loki.
Yeah.
That's the last time we heard any mention of Kang. Yes,
He Who Remains.
He Who Remains. Yeah, that was that variant. He Who Remains, and this one is the, I guess what they refer to as the exiled one, exiled Kang. But anyway, yeah, a lot of hope. I was hoping to get back. I know people will argue is like, yeah, the full focus is the multiverse kind of thing. It's like, yes, okay, still, you could still have Kang involved in all those things, and that would have made some continuity happen like they did with Thanos, which is a formula I think just probably would have helped a little bit. But there's a lot of things, and then to Eli's point, yeah, there's a lot of things I thought was filler that wasn't really necessary. I thought it started out really well, like it was really building me up and getting me going. I was like, okay, this is cool. And then like I ran into quicksand when I was watching the movie. I was like, okay, we're now where are we going with this? It's like now you're taking me out. And there were several things that kind of took me out of the movie. But overall, it's like on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5's the best, I put it like maybe like at a 3. I'm in the middle with this one. Maybe because I had so hope that this would right the ship. Or maybe my viewpoint is tainted because of what Disney has done to the other Marvel properties, to where this is it's lowered my expectations to where this is higher than maybe it should be. I don't know. Watching it, man, I felt like it was Marvel meets Avatar, Flights of Passage meets Star Wars.
Totally with you on the Star Wars. I didn't Avatar.
The Avatar part was only, well, I guess I could talk about the spoilers later. But yeah, there's certain scenes that kind of remind me of like, oh, this is going to turn into a Flights of Passage kind of a thing. Yeah, it's a lot of different things rolled into one, and it was kind of cool to see Kang and have him do more things than just the last episode of Loki. But I'm curious to see more. Yeah, it obviously wasn't the Kang. He was the exiled Kang, what they referred to in the movie, and not the Kang that I know from like the cartoons and whatnot, which is a little bit of a different Kang, I think. I don't know. Eli could probably speak to more about this Kang.
I was going to say, because I always heard they refer to him as the Conqueror on here. many
Yeah.
times. He's Kang the Conqueror. That's what he does. He goes in the world, he conquers them.
Yeah,
So-
and that's what he said. But toward the end there, when you have the, I don't want to spoiler it, I guess we can talk about that as spoiler. Yeah, I don't want to give that away.
Okay.
But yeah, well, we'll talk about that more later. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my thoughts. If it's a 3 out of 5. I'm stuck in the middle with this. Maybe just because there's maybe hope or maybe built up false hope due to what's been happening recently in Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
To go back to what you were saying a minute ago, Kev, it's weird to say it because I don't know quite how they've managed to do it, but just the fun and the excitement of going to see a Marvel movie is just gone. And that is what it is. That's why you showed up for it. You keep showing up because it's kind of more of a curiosity as to whether or not they can regain that loving feeling.
Do it again.
They've lost
yeah.
that loving feeling, and I need to know that they can bring it back.
He definitely lost it, Math. She
Now-
definitely lost it.
Going to see a movie called Quantumania, I highly doubted I was going to recapture that feeling. It's Quantum. I mean,
Quantumania.
I want to see what they rejected: Quantum Madness, Quantum 316. Like what?
Quantum
They
Warriors.
rejected that they came with a Quantum Mania, which pretty much tells you right off the bat, just don't take this all that seriously.
Yeah.
It should be a new park parade, man.
I will say, like, I haven't seen either the two previous Ant-Man movies while they were in the theater. I wouldn't have seen this one either. Nothing against Paul Rudd. I like Paul Rudd. It's just hard to get excited about Ant-Man, the superhero. Even the movie knows this. People are mistaking him for Spider-Man. They're asking him to take pictures with their dogs. They're charging him when they realize, wait, you're not Spider-Man. I mean, I don't think any of that qualifies as spoilers. It was just more little gags. But you see what I'm saying? It's like even the movie kind of makes fun of the fact that, yeah, it's just Ant-Man. So, like everyone else, I'm anxious to see Kang. Because Kang is the Conqueror, and that's how I knew them to introduce him in this movie. He's that big, badass, next phase guy that we're all waiting to see, and we can't wait to see how he's integrated into this universe and how he's just going to own from this moment on. And I think even the marketing in the movie, if you watch the trailers, if you saw the posters, it was 9% Kang, 10% Ant-Man. I just don't know that the movie succeeds in doing that. I don't think it has me excited for Phase 5. And as far as the standalone movie, I don't know that it really is anything more than an average movie. It's not overly entertaining. Paul Rudd is charming as hell. He always manages to pull that off no matter what role he's in. But after the 50th time of hearing him scream, "Where's my daughter?" it begins to get aggravating. And Jonathan Majors, man, that dude is a phenomenal actor. He commands the screen whenever he's on it. But the more he's on screen, he loses that presence as he keeps rambling on about all the menacing things he could do that he never does. You know, like he keeps showing up and talking tough, but you never actually get to see him do anything. So while it's enjoyable at times, the story is it never really engrossed me into it. I'm not really. I don't even really understand the world, the quantum realm. It wasn't very well explained. You get no real sense of how it works, what the importance is, why are there beings living in the quantum realm, and it doesn't even feel remotely unique, as y'all put it. Like it's like they're visiting an alien planet, like on Star Wars or Star Trek or something like that. Something like, and the planet itself is something like Strange World meets Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
Plot itself is very basic. At times, it's completely nonsensical. There's really nothing compelling or captivating about any of it whatsoever. I've seen Rick and Morty episodes where they do the exact same thing, but it's way more original, way better written. The new side characters they introduced were pretty lame. I don't even remember any of their shit names. All I knew is there's Warrior Woman, Laserhead, and some Uzi guy. That's it.
And Bill Murray.
Yes, and Bill Murray.
And Brother Telepath.
And brother, there you go.
Oh, yeah. I love Brother Telepath.
Yeah, I forgot about him. With the blinky head.
I just made that name up.
Yeah, he just came back from Ash Wednesday.
The CGI was completely hit and miss. My eyes got lost in it most of the time, as always. It's just so hard to focus when there are multiple CGI characters on the screen with CGI backgrounds at the same time. And one of those characters, the CGI was just so bad, it completely took you out of the movie. And when you see this character, there's no point when you're not acutely aware of This is crap. This is utter crap.
Yes, I know exactly.
Damn you, movie. Damn you to hell. Why are you doing this? And the humor. Yeah, we'll talk about the humor. The humor scored somewhere along the lines of polite chuckle to no reaction at all to complete cringe. There were no laugh out loud moments in the theater that I remember. There was no moments where I laughed out loud.
I didn't.
I don't remember anybody. I don't remember hearing anyone in the theater laughing above a polite.
I heard light chuckles. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was about it.
Chuckles.
That's all I got.
I had a
That's all I
couple
got.
of chuckles through the. Yeah.
It wasn't a complete failure, but this is not the kickoff that you want. Not the kickoff you want. If this is supposed to be getting us excited about what's to come, So that's my non-spoilery thoughts. I would not watch this in the theater unless you're just so desperate to see Jonathan Majors be Kang. I guess I get that. I don't think you're going to be completely impressed, except for the fact that the dude's a phenomenal actor and he's doing his best with what he's given. But they do a horrible job of really putting Kang over.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm 100% agree.
That's kind of what I was saying. It's like I didn't ever buy him as like this ultimate badass villain.
No, it's hard to.
Right.
It's like, okay, I mean, yeah, I get like where he's coming from, and I get that he's done all these things in his past and stuff like that because that's explained. But it's like, at never any time did he come off as like, how is this whole movie based off this guy? And if he's supposed to be the big villain going forward, like I didn't feel even like Thanos, like you knew what he had done, so you're like, oh man, that guy's bad, dude. Like that's a bad dude. I can't believe he did what he did. Like he killed half the world. Like, oh, that's terrible.
Even just that, like even before Thanos killed half the world, you see him rip the Infinity Stone out of Vision's head and kill him.
Beat the crap out the Hulk.
Beat the crap out of the Hulk, kill Loki. Like within the first few moments of seeing him, he's already beaten the Hulk, killed Loki. You're already like, oh this guy, and he doesn't even have all the stones yet.
Yeah.
Right. This guy is something to be reckoned with. You never get that with Kang. Kang's is a lot of hype. Basically, Michelle Pfeiffer is telling you how badass this dude is, but you're not really seeing it correlate to how he actually...
Not enough badassery.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. You brought up something that's interesting, and I guess is now due to the post-COVID era. I've thought in my head is like, okay, there are movies that are worth it to see in the theater, and there are movies I wish I would have just watched at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so and maybe we could go around just to see it, but just kind of end the non-spoiler part. But for me, I would have been totally fine seeing this movie at home. This is not something I wish I would have bought a ticket for.
Yeah.
The big screen didn't do anything to enhance anything of it. Yeah, people argue the spectacle and whatnot, but it's like if the story's not there to back up the spectacle, then it doesn't really help as much. So I would have been totally fine being at home watching it. What do you guys think? At theater better or at home would have been better?
100%. It would have been better seeing it at home. You don't feel near as ripped off, which it's a lot easier to digest the CGI when it's on a smaller screen, I find, than the bigger screen where your eyes kind of get lost and
That's
everything.
a good
Like
point, yeah.
where you're like can only focus on a couple things at a second, like where at least you can rewind what you saw.
Yeah.
I mean, I like watching movies at home anyway rather than watching. I know people talk about but I mean, I'm sorry, when you got to go to the bathroom, you want to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
When you miss a line, you want to hear what exactly it was that they said. You want to go back.
Yeah.
There's that sense of being able to have control over the movie and really kind of absorb it. Like, seeing it in the theater, you kind of almost see it 2 to 3 times to catch everything. Like, I have questions about this movie that maybe y'all can answer. That maybe it was answered at some point in the time in the movie. I just don't remember it ever being addressed.
Right.
So,
yeah, and the reason why I thought about this, because you have meetings and you always have that jokes like, oh yeah, this is a meeting, it could have been an email.
yeah.
And so I kind of see the same way. It's like, okay, yeah, I could have just watched this home and gotten the same effect, the thrill of it.
And there's so many moments in this movie where you're sitting there going, well, why did they do that? And how does that make sense? And you're missing dialogue as your head is outside the movie saying, what are they doing? Does that make sense? Does that correlate? I don't think it does. And you're missing key moments because you're out of it. And you're questioning what you're seeing.
Yeah. Lee, what do you think, man? Better in theater or better you rather been at home?
I could have been okay with seeing this at home. Like I personally enjoy going to the movies, so like I felt like I felt like I got my $10 worth, right? That's the way I would put it. The problem is though that I didn't just spend $10. I spent $50 because we all went. So that's the problem. It's like that's not worth $50. Like $10 maybe, yes, okay, but I would have been just as fine seeing it at home as well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So money
yeah,
aside,
I go either way, but yeah, I wouldn't have any problem seeing it at home. It would have been just the same effect.
same effect. Okay. And to round it out with our Marvel Guru, better glad you saw it in the theater, or would you been just as fine at home?
I would be 100% honest with you. I was willing to see it at home when I saw the trailer.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on just from that. In a Marvel movie, just the trailer alone is supposed to get you hyped up and make you think it's gonna go one way, and then if it goes somewhere else, you're like, man, that was still awesome. But and I've seen.
I'll tell you another one I feel that way about is Guardians of the Galaxy 3 right now.
Oh,
This kind of felt a little bit like Guardians in a sense, with all of the crazy, kooky characters, and they're trying to be funny. And I was like, wait, now you're blending things, and I don't need that. But yes, I'm not.
I wish they would stop showing trailers to Guard. The more they show those trailers, the less I want to go see that movie.
I ain't holding no weasel.
All the gravitas and this is a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, right? This is not supposed to be anything overly serious.
I feel like they're trying to force an end to that series.
Exactly.
Yes. And they don't care.
And that's another big issue I have with the MCU is that the idea that these stories have to end. They're superheroes. Their job ends when there's no more bad guys in the world.
Right.
But
there's always bad guys.
But there's always a
ends.
bad guy.
Always a bad guy, yeah.
You got a whole library to pull from.
Yeah.
And for the record, I said too, I've seen the first two Ant-Man movies. And, this one I had the most hope for, like you said, because it had the bigger stakes to it. The first was pretty much the better movie out of all of them because it just sticks to what you know.
It was small.
Yeah, and that was it. So, yeah, I would have, to answer your question, I would have rather watched it on TV.
Yeah, that's all that. Yeah, I mean, I had issue with the first Ant-Man, and I've spoken about this on a review of the show because it's my Hank Pym. Ant-Man for me is Hank Pym,
100%.
Who's supposed to be contemporaries with Tony Stark, but that's not what they played it here.
Nope.
And they did act with another character, which we'll talk about in the spoilers section. Which I think, let's go ahead and switch over to. I think we've talked about non-spoiler stuff. So, guys, if you haven't seen the movie yet, now's the time to hit pause on your podcast, mobile device, whatever you're listening on. Go see the movie, come back and see us after that, because after this, we are going to spoil the piss out of this freakish movie, talk about all the stuff. So if you don't want to hear any of that, go ahead and hit pause now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, spoiler time! And spoilers. And to spoil this, man... I'm going to start out with my aggravation. Number 1, MODOK has nothing to do with AIM. And number 2, he's freaking Darren from one of the movies.
Yeah, that's broke.
What the hell was that That pissed me off. I mean, it kind of looked cool, but at the same time...
What? No, it did not.
No, it did not.
It just looked like the man fell and hit
and
glass.
squished. Yeah.
Yeah, the SpongeBob legs and stuff.
Yeah, but it's
But that's how the character...
Yeah.
That was old
SpongeBob
Sonic cringeworthy CGI.
That whole thing was just bad.
It was terrible.
Just bad. The fact that it's Darren, number 1, and 2, I guess this MODOK has nothing to do with AIM.
Right.
Which is what I always associate MODOK with, is with AIM.
Right.
Advanced ID Mechanics. No, he's just Darren that got squished and Kang did something, and now he's like a little dude, little baby.
He's Kang's boy.
Yeah, flying. He's Kang's boy. I was like, come on, man.
No.
Come on. And he has a mask. He's kind of like Dark Helmet from Spaceballs, where he takes off the mask, he talks, and he puts it back on.
Yeah, see, that would have been cool if
MODOK.
they had kept the mask on, because, I mean, it was a little broke. It looked like a rapper's medallion, but at least I was like, okay, well,
he looks menacing.
Yes. And once the thing popped off, it was like, boom, totally lost that.
All the awesomeness that could have been there was just stripped away immediately. It was a goof.
Because it was Darren.
It was Darren.
Come on.
And he's not a dick.
Hey, it's never too late to not be a dick.
Yeah.
Never
He's
too
an
late to not be
Avenger.
a dick.
He died an Avenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
MODOK. I mean, how do y'all feel about that? This is MODOK. This is the first time we've seen MODOK in the MCU. And MODOK, to me, has been pretty big. MODOK is pretty big.
I didn't know who the guy was.
That's not the first time that they've put MODOK in a show, and he's not come off as a goof, because they did like a Hulu original with
they
him.
did?
Yeah, and Patton Oswalt played MODOK. It was like a claymation kind of thing.
Oh, man, really?
Yeah, but that was It was a funny show. It was supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be
Correct.
mocking it, making fun of it.
Making a goof, yeah.
Yes, you don't expect that out of the movie.
That's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting any. I mean, my knowledge of the Marvel universe is from the cartoons, and MODOK was not what I saw in that movie.
He's not a cod happy.
No, he's not the guy that's
totally
like, he looks like a dork, but he'll bite you in the ass. This guy, I don't think he could bite you in the ass.
No, in fact, it's really kind of odd that was really all the character needed to hear was don't be a dick. Like nobody along the way in life ever just told him, hey, dude, you're being a dick. Don't do that.
I've never known MODOK to have that kind of
If
feeling.
he would have just heard that earlier on, like maybe Ant-Man 1 didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
What kind of villain motivation is that? How weak is your villain when that is what you're saying?
That is not MODOK.
No.
That's not my MODOK.
No, it's not.
Maybe they should have just tried that with Thanos. Thanos, don't be a dick.
You're mean, Thanos.
It's like swipe or no swiping.
Stop
If you
it.
just go up there and say, no being a dick, no being a dick, no being a dick, they get, oh, man.
You're like, oh.
They got to walk away.
I was going to conquer the world, man.
It could be like Peter Griffin. Just stop it. Stop it. No. Good Thanos.
Yeah, they did not do any of the villains in this movie any sort of justice, yeah. And like we've already stated, like in the non-spoiler version, I mean, I know Lee was saying earlier, like about Kang, and I'm not going to go through all the stuff in the books and what this guy can do, but trust me when I tell you, this guy should technically be like if Doc Brown was like really evil and just wanted to do timeline stuff and just go in and mess with people in times before they became Captain America or Iron Man, that's what this guy could do. And
he'd be chill about it.
Yeah.
That's the Kang I know. He'd be like talking to you like normal. He's like, yeah, I'm a your world.
Yeah, this is happening.
And you can't stop me.
This is inevitable.
Doc Brown, he couldn't even fix his own energy core that he made for his own ship. He needed Michelle Pfeiffer to do that, even though he lived 1,000 timelines and is eternal and built the damn ship. Nope, he needed Michelle Pfeiffer to fix the ship for him.
Yeah.
That's how dumb this Kang was.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's kind of hard because I really thought from the trailer Kang was gonna crush whatever.
Yep.
And then I thought Ant-Man was gonna die. Or
I did
be
too.
In some sort of bad spot. Like, killed Ant-Man.
Well, that's the thing. I thought he was going to bust through into our world or the MCU world, and because of Ant-Man. But
right.
That didn't happen.
He was too easily defeated.
Yep.
That was my whole thing. Like,
True.
And again, maybe because he was this variant or whatever, but
This is a badass variant.
I know. I thought it was going to be like this huge showdown, and it's like, no, they were just like fist fighting like regular ass people. And so it's like, okay, like why is this guy so feared?
Yeah.
He got taken down pretty much by a Ant-Man with no suit or nothing. So anyway, I didn't get that. But gentlemen, unfortunately, I have a previous commitment. I got to bow out, but it's been good talking with you guys and
Highly unprofessional.
see a movie. I haven't been to the movies in a while, so at least I got to do that.
Do you just walk out on audits in the middle of them?
Pretty much.
No, I usually have I just have like 3 other people. I'll be like, hey, can y'all just finish this up for me? I got to go.
We need 3 other Lees to.
All right, so
Wesley 2.0.
So that means we can call Rachel right now and she can be our new travel agent and take over for a little bit?
Hey, if she's seen the movie and she can contribute, then more power to her.
I don't
Lee
want to wish that
2.0.
on anybody right now.
Lee 2.0.
2.0 probably saw the movie.
All right, gentlemen.
All right. Say bye, Lee.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Put that on YouTube.
Hey, don't forget, it's not too late to not be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
That's right.
I'll try not to.
All right, good. See you, Lee.
Highly unprofessional. Just highly
sad,
unprofessional.
sad.
I can't work like this.
You know, a lot. We would put ourselves on the chopping block with. You've done it with your wife before. I don't know what
I just did.
Yeah, I don't know. You handle your wife.
I just did.
I mean, I mean, you know, I don't have to worry about it too much. But there have been some times I've said, "Hey, I can't go out on Saturday, Friday, Sunday, yes, and can't do it." And like, well, I'll get you did. Like, yeah.
Well, to bring it back to the discussion we were
Sick
going
and
to
eye
have,
of the tiger. Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. There's Kang. He's supposed to have all these badass powers. He's throwing people around with his mind and slamming into things and turning them upside down.
Could cause armies to come through.
But I guess at the very end, he just forgot he had powers and decided, I'm going to punch this dude and kick him alive. Like, really?
That instinct. Oh, man.
You could do so much, and you just want to punch and kick and be like, what?
And Ant-Man is not the most fighting-wise formidable person.
No.
You know,
He's
like
Ant-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and again, it's a fun cast of people. But look, all right, here's the thing. I saw Ant-Man. He would grow, then he would shrink, then he would grow,
Like an
then he would
accordion.
shrink, and that's all he would do. So it's not the same feel as if you see Banner turns into the Hulk, or Wolverine popping his claws. Like there's
Right.
nothing where you're like, ooh, he's gonna, whatever. So I kind of got
He's gonna
tired.
amp out.
Yeah, he gonna amp up. He gonna get giant. Like I was over his powers, and then once Cassie's daughter, who in the comics does have the ability to grow and shrink as well.
Oh, I did not like her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another conversation right
But
there.
once she duplicates the same thing, well, now you're
getting a hit twice.
you watered it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you don't forget the Wasp. She's doing the exact same thing, except she can fly.
And shoot stuff.
Yes.
She's got the stingers.
Yeah.
She's got the exact same powers he has, although I don't think we ever see her blow up.
No, she
just gets small.
She gets
I bet you
small.
she could, though, because we didn't know that he could blow up until one day while he's fighting at an airport. He just blew up.
Boom. Right, and even then, he's part of. If you put him in an ensemble, then yeah, it's kind of awesome to watch this big giant person fighting all these superheroes. But yeah, on his own, it was kind of like, okay, I get it. They shoot the blue lasers at you and everything.
Well, wait a
but-
minute. Speaking of ensemble, I got a total Wreck-It Ralph. second
Yeah, I did
movie
too.
Vibe when he first enters the quantum realm, and then he starts duplicating himself.
Yep.
And then they start like climbing, and they like all of them work together because of Cassie. Friend,
Yeah,
I got a total Wreck-It Ralph vibe from that second movie of Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, one
you know?
was
That was
a
a weird
probability thing, and the other one was like an insecurity virus.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
this
I
is-
got
what
the
hell?
exact same vibe.
This is freaking. Except they didn't do one big Ralph, big Ant-Man.
One big Ant-Man
They just
guy,
did
yeah.
the climb thing.
Yeah.
I love you.
Why couldn't they all have turned giant and still walk on each other?
I don't know.
He's just question.
Except for the guy that was serving
Baskin
Robbins.
Yeah,
I guess he couldn't do that.
that was a joke they ran to the ground, huh?
Oh my
There's
god.
a few.
Mm-hmm.
But I did
So
like the
many
welcome
things.
back kind of. I just
I
want to
did.
throw that in.
Oh,
I would appreciate
At the beginning of the
that
end.
helped make the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie. I'm like,
Yes.
oh man, I'm really liking this already. This is going great.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
but yes, no, it did work out well with that. But
Yes, sir.
I would say Cassie, man, did she get annoying quickly? I mean, she just came across as a preachy, know-it-all millennial who, if Dad just ignored his real-world life experience and just paid attention to her idealism, he'd be a lot better off for it. Thanks for reinforcing that, by the way, Disney. Thank you, Marvel.
Yeah.
All of us out there trying to raise kids don't
Daughters.
have enough people who think that they know how life works. Thank you for that.
Yeah, without a true experience, yes.
I mean, here's a girl who I don't even know how she did this. So this is one of my things that it's crazy. She was like what? I don't know, 14, 15 when Scott Lang came back from the quantum realm.
oh gosh, okay.
I mean, because remember he left and she was like 8 or 9, and all of a sudden she comes back to like 14, 15, something like that.
Right.
And then Hope Van Dyne,
Bang.
Janet Van Dyne, Hank Pym, all of them, they were gone too during this
Right.
time. Who taught her to build a map to the quantum realm in her basement while teaching her to use her suit and do all that stuff as well? How did she learn how to do all that and become the smartest person in the world in 3 years?
Pepper Potts.
There you go.
Pepper Potts.
Must have found her
Nice save.
while they were busy raising their own
Yes,
daughter.
that's right. Yes.
in a bassinet somewhere floating down the river.
You have a suit. I have a suit too. Let me show you how to build one.
I mean, how the hell did she all of a sudden become so damn smart with no one to help her to get to that point? Like, I could at least buy it if she was groomed that way or she was introduced that way.
Or if she was
As a young
actually a
child.
Pym, she's not a Pym.
No, I mean, all of a sudden she's just as smart as hell.
No, that's a great
While
point.
being raised, and not just smart as hell, like genius level IQ, she's building a map of the quantum realm in her basement.
with basic parts.
With basic parts, and it's like, yeah, she can just do that now. Oh, and by the way, you know what else she can do? Beat MODOK, who's supposed to, like, she's never fought before, never been involved in hand-to-hand combat before, but somehow she can beat, what do they call the mechanic? What is it? What's the acronym?
Oh, God.
It's not
mechanic.
Basically, he's the perfect killing machine. He's a perfect Jeff
killing machine.
Speakman.
Yeah, Jeff
Speakman.
He's a perfect weapon.
Yes.
Yeah, she beat him despite clearly not even know how to punch. She didn't even know how to fight. She didn't know, like what is it, like snap punch or something like
Snap
whatever they were
punch, yeah, or
snap and
something
punch,
like
something
yeah.
whatever they were trying to teach her how to do.
Yeah.
She figured it out finally
Tapping
while
punch,
she was
yeah.
fighting MOW, and that was enough to beat him.
Yeah, a guy with missiles on his back.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, God.
All it took. She was dodging everything, and boom, took him out. That's how good she was.
She ain't no Riri.
They just, that's it. They just turn these kids into geniuses who can do anything. Like Spider-Man was a genius from a very early age. Like Peter Parker, I should say.
Right.
Raised by him. Like, we all understand and establish that. Riri Williams, okay, cool. We don't know her background. So when we introduced to her, okay, fine. She may have just been a genius at a very early age.
Right.
There's no mentioning of Cassie having ever been Wile E. Coyote level. Super genius.
No.
Did not ever happen. So that was aggravating. Her know-it-all bullshit was just aggravating. Like, every single time Dad spoke of, clearly Dad's always wrong. The young daughter is always right.
Oh, of course.
We got to reinforce that horrible stereotype.
I know that from life experience. Go ahead.
Golly.
Go ahead.
But no, here you have a kid getting arrested and doesn't even get grounded. Doesn't even get grounded for being arrested. How does that work?
And then talks crap to you after you just did a book signing about your stuff. You trying to get paid and keep food in this kid's mouth, and this kid is telling you garbage.
Is it because he's a separated dad? Is it like divorced dad or whatever? I guess it's because he's trying to keep in favor with his daughter. Is that what it is?
I don't know. Like, our thing to remember is her other family. The dad was a cop.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was a bad thing that Scott Lang kept ending up in jail for being a jerk.
Right.
But now, I guess daughter can get thrown in jail and it's okay.
Well, she was, what, for a protest?
But she wasn't even the worst character. Like, like Michelle Pfeiffer's character. Oh, my God, did they screw that up?
You saying that was the worst character?
I think that, well, if you're going to throw in MOW, I'm talking like a central character
Out
to the
of
movie.
the Pym family.
The continued insistence upon holding back sharing anything about Kang, the quantum realm, even once they've been sucked into the quantum realm, it's infuriatingly stupid. Like, no matter how many times her family asked, no matter the fact that they're on this long journey with nothing else
Going on.
prevalent to talk about, I'm not going to say anything, no matter what. That was so frustrating. Like, make me hate Michelle Pfeiffer within the first 20 minutes of the movie, why don't you? Anyway.
Slap, yeah.
No, she was a little. It comes off treacherous, especially when she's saying she's hooked up with Bill Murray's character. Like, I thought that was a fun cameo, but yeah,
Oh, that was a shitty cameo.
I thought it was funny.
It was funny when oh God, Bill Murray's in this movie.
Yeah.
When's Bill Murray gonna be funny? When's Bill Murray gonna do
A
something?
woman has needs, Danny.
yeah,
Has needs. It's been a while.
I've heard
that was
so
the
much
best
about
that they
you.
could give you, right?
And apparently Hank Pym had some needs too.
Yeah, but that was the part where I was starting to be like, oh man, this dynamic is breaking itself apart because she was like, I'm not going to tell you that. He was like, okay, honey, well, whatever you say. Be like, no, we need to talk.
I know, like
We gotta,
what a weak relationship. Like, we will never speak about things in our relationship. We are together, but there are certain things in life we just don't ever speak about. Like, damn.
No, and let those
rough.
roles be reversed. Let
me go out for 15 minutes and not tell my wife where I went.
Right.
Let's see how well that goes.
Right. You get your family stuck in another world, and then you know all of the dangers of it. You don't tell your wife, and then let's say another chick shows up in that world, but like, oh, it's been so long since I see you. You think your wife is gonna look at you, be like, oh, it's all right. I understand. You was on a subatomic planet. Mm-hmm. This who you got with for 30 years. No, she's gonna kill you both right there at the table.
And then to find out, like, oh, okay, I'm going to make my life's work, trying to figure out a way to help my granddaughter map out the quantum realm, only to find a dude that banged my wife in the quantum realm.
Well, right. And he helps get you captured. Like, you really got to talk to your lady about your choices. Then
I would think so, but and Michael Douglas's character doesn't fare any better. I mean, he's just is kind of wasted. It just seems like he's there to explain the ants. That's about it. That's really
his ants,
yeah.
that was
his advanced ants.
completely wasted character. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Evangeline Lilly, I don't know what she did. Like, all she was there to do is, like, when the odds got to be too much, when Ant-Man was just on the precipice of losing, she would just jump in and save the day.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Every time. That was really her only role in the movie. That and looking like a grown-up version of Peter Pan. I don't have
Grown-up version of Peter Pan.
You didn't see that?
You call that woman Sandy Duncan.
She did.
Oh, because her hair got changed?
Yeah.
You see that?
You
Yeah,
changed
it's all
your hair.
Boppy
Yeah.
looking.
They have to call attention to it.
I was waiting for it to be like, off to Neverland.
I don't want to grow up. I don't want to grow up.
Second star to the right.
Yeah.
Straight on till morning.
And you know what, really, too? I think it would have been nice if it just would have been called the Pims. I don't think it needed to be called
That should be like a Friday night like series on like
The Pims?
UPN or something.
The Pims.
Pims.
What you mean you got with another man in the summertime? What? But then it's kind of like, that's because it's like they were trying to make it this family dynamic, which I wasn't expecting when I saw the movie.
Family.
And then they split them up. They put them in this spot. They don't work together. And then finally at the end, they're all supposed to come together and get out of it. Like,
You can see why that family's so dysfunctional.
yes.
Family.
Yes. But it's an Ant-Man movie, and Ant-Man's not really the star of his own movie.
Right.
And I personally don't like that anymore. That's why I was saying earlier, it's kind of like, I just call it IP hijacking. But it's just, why? I get you got to throw these characters in here, but then call it something else that's more general. Don't put in these early titles that we see at the D23 and all this other stuff where it's like, this is Ant-Man's, new movie. Not that I'm a huge Ant-Man fan, but dang, like,
It's hard to be a huge Ant-Man.
I know. I mean, the character that looked like a walking blow pop got more attention.
Oh, the jelly dude
The
that
jelly
wanted
dude.
holes?
Yeah.
I don't have holes.
And I was out. All right, I'm going to jump to this.
But just a quick comment to that.
Yeah, go for it.
You knew that was going to pay off. He just kept mentioning the holes. It's like they're setting up something here. Why does this idiot keep asking about holes?
Yeah.
So
To be fair, I did count my holes just to make
I
sure.
did
I was
too.
like, wait, a
I
minute,
had to
7?
as well.
I was like,
Oh,
yeah.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
7.
That's cool. One of the things that
No, wait, Eli wanted to say something.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm
I cut
sorry.
him off to say that.
That's all. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, really quick. I was just gonna say the other supporting characters. You could have taken them just all out.
The Warrior Woman, the CGI
Warrior-
dude, and the blinky head guy.
Yeah.
Yes. I caught none of their names. Forgot about them as soon as I walked out of the theater. Like, I had to sit down and think about it to be like, who were those people again, and why were they a part of the movie? I mean, like, what?
bring somebody to their cause, Danny.
I guess just because they wanted to keep the ants till last.
I guess so. But here was the only thing that had killed me about it. Where like there's always a crucial point in the movie where you're like, I'm out of it. I'm officially out of it.
Oh, MOW did that to me.
Yes, but
Yeah,
this,
that was the official. I'm done.
when,
I could tell you
for
my
me
part, yeah.
was when they were like they made him drink ooze and stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he could understand
Drink the
everything.
ooze.
And they're like, drink it. Okay, so then he drinks it and it's like, that's really gross. Like I had the Skywalker titty milk drinking thing again. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I hate that. But then here comes a telepath that could read your mind anyway and can pretty much.
Well, I think it was for their purposes so they can understand these people.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, but isn't he a telepath? Can't he just read the mind and just say, here, I'm just
oh, without
talking
having to
about
drink
their
the
mind.
ooze?
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
but
without the gross
no,
part.
that don't make no sense because you want the people to drink the ooze so they can understand you.
Yeah, but I don't need that grossness. I'm sorry.
Well, yes, it is grossness, no doubt about it. But like, I was having trouble with the idea of why are there humans in the quantum realm? What the hell are these things? How does this all work?
Why is there anything in there?
Exactly. Please explain what the hell this is. I don't understand the
I
quantum
don't
realm.
understand the quantum. Yeah.
No, like, why would you? Like, like maybe if I go back and rewind, I'm sure there may be a throwaway line, but it didn't stick.
Michelle Pfeiffer never told us,
No,
No,
and she never will.
no.
It
It's
always looks like
such a
cells.
dysfunctional family.
yeah, that's
It's the part that took me. I mean, there's a lot of things that took me out, but what really solidified for me was when Star Wars happened, and there was references to an empire.
Mm-hmm.
And there was Kang, and then there was those legions of soldiers, and they're perfect little blocks like you would see in Star Wars.
They look like from Tron Legacy.
They
Yeah,
did, like getting
that's
ready
right.
to board the ships and get and conquer the world, like the Empire should.
My empire.
I was like, and then they had the hologram thing that would spoke to the entire. I
Yep.
mean, they did that in the cartoon series, the Clone Wars, and as well as the Jedi.
The thing that Cassie again smart enough took over.
took
Yeah.
over. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like okay, there's a lot of parallels here. I know that y'all own both properties, but do we need to go there? Is this what happens in the comic books? I don't know. I don't know if that's what happens in comics. I've never seen a scene like that.
No.
No, they
Uh,
typically.
I mean, that's maybe I'm wrong, but
Was Kang ever in the quantum realm in the comics?
that's a good question. Yeah.
Not in any books I've ever read. It's
same
always,
here.
It's always just been about a time stream, about a normal timeline, but
Well,
infinite possibilities.
Well, my
of it.
question is, did Kang ever need an army like that?
Kang has pulled
Yeah.
He
armies
does, really?
out.
Yes. But that's part of why he's a conqueror. I mean, he does command a following.
Yeah,
And I was 100% cool. That's what I'm saying. Like this was people are talking like, oh, maybe this is just a weaker Kang. No, this is the badass Kang. This is the one that all the other Kangs are like, we're all bad, but you've got
that's
issues,
why
buddy.
they
Yeah.
exiled him. Yeah,
Yeah, you've
Wow.
got problems.
That's why the
man.
other Kangs exiled him.
You need to get out of here, and they stranded him in there, which is another thing I don't understand. Is because they strand him down there, doomed to never come back whatsoever. Even though, like I said, he designed his own ship apparently and built. Doesn't matter. You're stranded here forever. Then somehow people get sucked into the quantum realm. The thing of it is that the device that they use to suck them into the quantum realm. I'm like, how the hell did that device work? Because it's supposed to be a device to map out the quantum realm,
right.
but then it's used as a portal, and you're led to believe that porthole was opened by Kang, and they sucked all these
Oh, I
people
thought that
into
was
there.
MODOK that did that.
Was it MODOK who did it?
Yeah, because he's like, thank you for that light, Cassie. I appreciate that.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the throwaway line that explained how it was that they all ended up there. Because even
But they don't really explain how MODOK did it. It's just that it was just insinuated that MODOK thanked her for doing that light because he was able to do something that brought him here.
okay, because I don't even remember
Yeah.
Kang mentioning anything about how he was watching them.
Yeah, Kang
from the-
never
quantum realm.
talked about it. Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, you got to imagine that MODOK's filling in his boss.
Only way he can't speak when he's around, apparently.
I don't know who operated the device, so I guess maybe it's MODOK who did it. But point of the matter is that yes, this is a big badass Kang, and
Armies. And
yeah. There's armies and stuff like that, and all these people exile him over there, and all these same people who exiled them for whatever reason have to convene because the guy that we exiled, the real bad dude, he got killed. There's all of a sudden now a call to action, like all the Kangs are getting together, right? Because that one guy got killed. Like, why?
Oh, because they're getting. Apparently, the Avengers were getting too close to the timeline. They were getting close to touching it. Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, but they already did it. They didn't have nothing
that's
to do with
the thing.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're again. Is like, oh, they're getting way too close. We got to handle this.
Yeah, that happened in Loki. Yes. We're just
Yeah.
getting that payoff now.
Yes.
Why are
I
they so
think
worried about the guy who got killed? Because that had nothing to do with all the timelines.
I think so.
That's the exact. I mean,
I think that's exactly why we're getting this late payoff.
it's so nonsensical to the point of just making your head hurt.
Well, I think it's their fault for addressing this topic so far down the pipeline. It was
Yeah.
like a year and a half.
Oh, yes.
You know,
100%.
it's the last time they referenced this.
Right. I don't need to see any more Kang, though. I saw it. I got it. As great an actor as Jonathan Majors is, I don't want to see him.
You don't want to see that Kang.
No, I don't. Well, I don't want to see him
dressed up like
in
a
30 different
vampire.
ways. Yeah, with varying different accents and costumes and deliveries. I don't want to see King Tut Kang or Kang Tut or whatever he was. The
Ramen Kang? Or
Ramen, the one that looked like Lopan Kang. I don't want to see him.
Kang. Oh, Lopan Kang would have been awesome. Dude,
Hello, Kang.
Chinese standoff. Don't say a word.
You didn't see him? Like, didn't he look like Lopan?
Yeah, I forgot his name, though.
that's
Yeah.
funny.
He's doing all these terrible,
Yeah.
weird accents with all these costumes, and you see all these frothing at the mouths Kangs that are all like, I'm looking for one Kang in that group that
looks
I'm
like
like,
Kang, yeah.
Yeah, where's the Kang that I know from the comics? That guy that's going to be the new Kang the Conqueror.
I was
Because
looking for the Kang that, well, it's the same thing in the comics, but
If-
cartoon
if-
Kang, yeah.
if Ant-Man and the Wasp just beat the Kang that was so badass that none of these other Kangs wanted to mess with him, what are they going to do to the, what are the Avengers going to do to this? It does nothing to make me want to see where this is going. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to see Jonathan Majors continuing to act like, I've already seen him as He Who Remains. I've already seen him as Kang the Conqueror. I saw him as some dude at a stage show.
Frederick Douglass Kang.
The Frederick Douglass Kang.
Timely. Whatever, timely something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever that was.
that was
King
weird.
Tut, Lopan, A bunch of like how many different ways are they going to keep dressing up this dude? I don't need to see him fight that many times.
No.
It's over. Like he lost. It's done. It's like watching The Rock get beaten by, and then we didn't get beat by nobody. It's like watching Rock get beaten by Scotty Too Hottie.
Scotty Too Hottie.
Quantumania's running wild, bro.
Even if
Quantumania 66.
Yeah.
even if Grandmaster Sexay would have intervened and tried to team up to take down The Rock,
Yeah.
The Rock still would have beat both of them going into WrestleMania because you can't beat the Rock's the big guy.
You put him over.
Yeah, you basically beat
Yes, the top villain.
the top villain with
of
too
Phase
sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, toward the
Yes.
end there, I was hoping that's what was going to happen. I was hoping that the good guys were going to lose this movie.
I did too.
That's
And
what I was
it's
figuring.
like, yeah, we beat Kang. I was like, no, you didn't. And he came back to life, and I thought he was going to bust through that portal, and then all hell was going to break loose, and then
100%.
credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they would have done that, I'd been like,
I would have felt better.
oh, damn.
Absolutely.
But no, they killed that Kang off, and they wanted, just because they wanted to introduce the Council of Kangs.
Yes.
But, man, yeah, that would have been my suggestion to make it better.
Yeah, I'm
You know?
with you. I don't want to see 100 CGI Kangs against the Avengers. I don't want to see that. I saw that with Ultron.
Yeah. No,
Didn't we already freaking see this movie?
You saw that? Yeah.
Yeah, and look, and that goes to another thing where it's now becoming
Another thing.
It becomes too formulaic now that everything has to be these big CGI battles with 400 people, and I don't like. That's what I'm fearing from seeing all of those Council of Kangs. Is that we're just gonna fight everybody against everybody? It's like I can't do that anymore. We saw it in Wakanda Forever.
Yep.
We saw it here, and those fights don't really. The Infinity War and Endgame, it made sense.
Yes.
But in these cases, they really don't.
Nope.
Because all those groups fighting, they're still fighting until the person that the movie's really about
Right.
wins. And that
Exactly.
person's not even in the goddamn fight.
Right.
No,
You
that's
know?
true.
So enough. You could have killed 45 minutes of that scene and just give us a little more time. That movie did not need to be 2 hours and
Whatever.
gotta
Yeah,
be
you're right.
minutes.
Yeah,
It did not.
absolutely, Yeah.
At the core of it, yes, you could have just chopped off some of that stuff and just made it a little bit tighter and a little more good Colonel of a movie.
I can give you a better movie that would have been shorter. They get sucked into the quantum realm and come to find out there is no Kang there. Like you can save Kang for the end reveal thing where all of a sudden he shows up and like again, that's what we did with Thanos. You slowly built him up. At the end of the movies, there would be Thanos, and you see that he's pulling the strings and he's teasing hell to come. But you never saw Thanos fight. You never saw Thanos get beat. You never saw him a whole movie revolve around. You never saw any of that. You just saw teases until it came time for the epic battle. If I were them, I would have just made the villain MOW.
That makes more
And-
sense.
and-
That would have been better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then your big reveal is that MOW is really Darren, but you don't use that face. I mean, like he has another face. And then it comes to find out with that face, like maybe it's a screen and it flickers and whatever it does, and boom, there comes Darren's face. And you're like, oh my God, it's like, yeah, you sentenced me down here and screw you guys, I'm taking you out. That kind of thing. And so when they win, they get out of there. Okay, cool.
Makes more
Not
sense.
so bad. You put over MOW as a bad guy instead of a joke, and you saved your big
Another.
baddie so that way you don't see him get beaten
and kill all his credit.
by the comic relief.
That works.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that works.
No, I thought that would have been good.
Yeah.
I mean, the part of my movie would have been like where I talked about where Kang does go through that portal that they escape through. He's released from the world, and then credits.
Yeah.
And then
I'm with you.
Give me an end scene where it's like
I would have taken that too.
give me an end scene where Charlize Theron and Doctor Strange are like, Scott, what the hell did you do?
Or
And that's it. Done.
Even
Nothing
better,
else.
Kang emerges from the portal. Like you don't know what happened to Scott. Like
Oh, yeah,
Scott
yeah,
might
yeah.
be dead. Scott maybe, and all of a sudden, like boom, he just throws the beaten up helmet on the ground. You don't know what happened.
Oh, that would have been
Credits.
incredible. Credits.
Roll it,
Done.
and then Kang's arrived. He's put over as a bad guy. You needed to see him kill. Like he needed to kill somebody.
Something, yes.
He needed to kill freaking somebody.
There's actually a line in that movie and even in the trailer where Ant-Man says, I don't need to win. We both just have to lose. And that was one of the things that made me think, oh, okay, wow.
I thought he was going to off himself.
Yeah,
I totally
sacrifice
great
himself.
line.
I would have been
Put
great
it
with
on-
that.
Right.
I would have been great with
over.
that.
Tell you what, here's the problem. You put that line in the trailer, so that way when Kang gets carried away by an army of ants, which even there, I'm like, that is the brokest death I've ever seen.
Damn.
A big baddie gets carried away by an army of ants.
That was all broke.
There was
The
smart
ants
ants.
came through.
They're
Super
smart
intelligent ants who
Smart
probably
ants,
will take. You know how ants work. They're going to take over the quantum realm.
That's it. It's going to be a big old molehill in the quantum realm.
Exactly.
That's
Just
all.
several ant piles all over the quantum realm.
Going to be East versus West ant. You know?
And telepathic dudes sitting there spreading those grains that try to
Andy
kill
Smalls.
off them. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 ant.
Two ant.
Oh my god,
yes.
dude, this movie,
Yeah.
I swear.
Yeah.
Digital ant ground.
The more I talk about it, the more this is going from being an average okay movie to being like a bad movie.
I know. I didn't even say what my grade was in the beginning, but I was giving it like a C minus. And the only
Well, that's where
reason
I put it. Yeah,
I put it like a C minus D plus.
I did it
C
at
plus.
3 out of 5, right in the middle, but it's hovering towards the lower end.
But I saw before I prepped for the show. Like I went on the Instagram and I was like, well, maybe people. I like to read what other people say. Then people like, oh my god, this is the best again. And other people like, no.
There's always going to be somebody that says this is the best.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
nah, I can't listen to them no
Simple.
more.
Well, now it's like you say with bots. I mean, now you can't even trust the reviews that are coming out anymore. You almost got to see it yourself.
Yes.
And be like, okay, let me appreciate it for my own self. It's like what's that stupid Avatar? I don't know anybody who's seen the new Avatar movie.
Oh,
I
the
still
way of
haven't
water.
seen it.
Yeah, it's making tons of money, but I don't know anybody and that has ever seen it.
I don't know
No one's
anybody
ever
either.
come up to me and said, "Did you see the new Avatar movie?" Because you haven't. Oh my God, you got to see the new Avatar movie. And I know a lot of nerds. I know a lot of people who are into that kind of stuff. And they're like, if you ask them about it, they're like, Avatar? Like, but
That's
still,
a movie I will watch at home.
I will watch that at home,
If,
but
maybe.
I'm not even eager.
I'm not
to see it.
eager. I don't even know when it's coming out.
I could care less.
I don't even know when it's coming out.
No, yeah,
No.
but
Quantumania. And so I did a quick poll of my family after we got out the movie theater.
oh, so the whole family saw this.
My whole family saw
Oh,
this. Yeah,
I'm always interested in
and so we did that. We left the theater. We got into the car, and I did a quick poll as we're getting our seats buckled and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest, she's she's 8. She said it was scary. My middle child, who's 11 now, she said it was boring.
Mm-hmm.
My eldest, who's 13, soon to be 14, said it was pointless.
Damn.
You've raised some smart children, Kevin.
And then my wife said it was just straight up dumb.
Jesus.
Straight up what?
Dumb.
Oh, I thought you said dung. Like,
She's like, I was like, what do you think, Ben? And she's like, well, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, that's about right, isn't it? I'm not taking into account it sucks because you can't even rely on Rotten Tomatoes anymore to get a good sense because you got so many people review bombing.
Oh,
movies
yeah. Big
that
time.
are good
Yes.
because they have a political agenda, so they tank the movies that are good, and then they bring up the movies that are bad because I don't. You can't even pay attention to it anymore. You're just gotta see it. You gotta rely on it, or YouTubers. There are certain YouTubers that I like to watch that I trust. I try to avoid it typically when we do a podcast because I don't want to be accused of repeating.
You don't want to be tainted with
plagiarist.
I do the same thing.
But yeah, it's refreshing to see that we are not alone here. That we're all coming away with a kind of icky feeling, like we're not really looking forward to this. We're not really, and it just sucks because you know what else it's doing for me? It's killing the DC vibe too. Because, and don't get me wrong, DC did a good enough job of killing it on its own. But now it's like, no, DC's like, we're ramping up and we're going to get y'all these. It's like, really? Because Marvel's currently crapping the bed. Y'all crap the bed for some. Like,
few
how many
times.
more times do I got to go to the theater and give you guys my money before y'all figure out to tell a compelling story?
a story
did
that
y'all
already
get-
exists.
Yes.
And not your own weird version of it.
100%.
Speaking of, did y'all get the Flash preview?
Yes.
Yeah. What?
Again, walked away from that preview. You can ask Eli. I walked away from that trailer the exact same way I walked away from watching Ant-Man. I'm like, they should have called it Kang with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
And they should have called that trailer Batman.
With the
with
Flash.
the-
yes.
With
yeah.
the Flash in it. Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
that's really, we're all going to see Michael Keaton be Batman again, and Batfleck, or
Bruce Fleck.
There you go,
Bruce
There.
Fleck.
All that, and hoping and praying, and crossing our fingers that somehow they pull off the Spider-Man thing and get Christian Bale in the film, and then we got one scene, just one. I don't need a whole Statue of Liberty fight scene, but just one scene where Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, and Christian Bale are all in the same room at the same time.
That'd be awesome.
Boom, pop, right there.
Yeah. Yes.
Right there, pop.
They all look at each other and say, "I'm Batman."
No, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
And Spider-Man. They're all pointing at each other.
Batman? I'm Batman. No,
Batman.
I'm Batman.
It's not possible.
I'm of the night.
Yeah, but to your point, Danny, Marvel. If Marvel is using this movie to launch into another phase,
They are. No
That's-
if. They are.
well,
This
yeah,
is
they
phase
are.
5.
Then it's weak. It's very. It doesn't have the same. I don't know. How do you have a formula when you don't have a formula in the previous phases, and then they are successful, hugely successful, and then you just not duplicate the same thing? Like, I get it the first time. I'm like, all right, look, we don't know how this is going to work, but let's try this. And then it works, and then you get to this fifth phase, and you're like, okay, let's start with our weakest established character hero. Let's start with him, and then we'll just, we'll just trash the villain, and then we'll just, starting out, look what you got to look forward to. You don't have nothing to look forward to.
Right.
Yeah, look, before we get into trashing where the Marvel, because we could do a whole other show on that.
We could do a whole
we're good.
About how
Quantumania.
terrible the Marvel Cinematic Universe is coming across right now. Quantumania was a horrible jumping off point for that.
Yeah.
It's an average movie and a horrible jumping off point to establish a world in which we want to see.
Well, might I say clouded by the fact that they announced recently that D Plus is not going to have as many series of Marvel that they were initially intending to do during this phase. I mean, I think they said just 2 series are going to come back, and that's it. So it's like, what the hell? What happened to the other things? I guess, they're pointless now? It's like, there's no reason.
I think they realized they overexposed it, and they're trying to reel it back some. But okay, just to try and keep it a little bit on topic, because again, if we go down that road, we'll be here for another hour and a half.
Yeah.
But just kind of keep it on that topic. Is there any Phase 4 movie that you would put above this movie? Talking about Thor, Love and Thunder, talking about Wakanda Forever, talking about
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi's in there?
Isn't that
He's in there?
is Shang-Chi?
Yeah,
phase
Shang-Chi's
4?
in there, but
I mean, how far back phase is Loki? part of
Spider-Man
phase
No
4?
Way Home.
Loki is, but that's a TV show. I'm talking about movies.
Spider-Man.
But it's all
Yeah.
part of the MCU, though. Now
Spider-Man, you're right.
They
I
made
would
it-
put Spider-Man up.
Spider-Man, I would
Spider-Man
put
No
up
Way
with-
Home.
Yeah,
I would
100%.
put that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
That would definitely be ahead of it.
Okay, but I mean, Shang-Chi was released on Disney Plus. I don't know how you want to rate that. If you want to call it a movie, I'm good. If you want to call it a TV
I
thing,
thought it was
I'm
in the
fine.
movie, was it? Oh no.
Yeah, that was-
No. It went straight. Well, I may be wrong, but I think
think-
it was COVID, and I think it went to
Oh,
Disney
well,
Plus.
yeah, COVID. He's right.
Oh yeah, it's true.
It was set
yeah.
to be a theatrical release.
Yes.
But they didn't. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because
did.
they had all the Black Widow stuff.
I might put Shang-Chi above this one.
I like. See, if,
I like Kung Fu and Ninja stuff, but then it gets to that weird
Yeah, that's a
fuzzy
problem.
turkey.
And Jonathan Majors did do a good job in what he did. It's just that they overexposed him without him doing anything. It was just a lot of menacing speeches, but I did enjoy the portrayal. So you know what? Now you say that, that's a close one. That's a close one.
Well, for me, if I had to pick one that I was going to repeat today, I'm going to repeat Shang-Chi.
Okay.
I just enjoyed that movie. I just enjoyed watching that dynamic. I liked all that. Yeah, even it got a little weird, but so did this, huh?
Oh, 100%.
yeah, no.
It got way weird.
I'm not saying you're wrong about
but
that.
it's like, yeah, I'm gonna. If I had to pick one to watch again, even over Wakanda Forever, I'll probably still watch Shang-Chi over again.
Oh, okay. No, I see. Okay, if you're talking about, wait, Wakanda Forever or, just so we all know what we're talking about, Wakanda Forever or Quantumania?
Oh God, that's tough for me
I
because I'd rather not watch either one. Of
don't
those.
want to be depressed
I'm
again.
kind of with you. Yeah, that's where I'm landing on as well. Like, at least one is uplifting, one is, I get a drink and some heroin.
Yeah.
I need to feel better from this.
I always remember your version of this is the English
Yeah, it's the
version
English
of
version of Marvel
movies.
yes.
Yeah. So no, I would take Quantumania over that one.
I kind of agree with you on that one.
I think Quantumania edges it just slightly for me. They're
All
both
right.
kind of down there, but I'm not.
Thor: Love and Thunder or Quantumania?
I'd probably do Thor: Love and Thunder.
They're like what?
I'd do Quantumania. I think I would do Quantumania. Yeah, that's a tough one as well. But I want to say Christian Bale's villain pissed me off a little bit more.
King does better. King does better.
Was it Gorg, the
Gore.
God Butcher? Gorg, the God. God,
Yeah.
that was terrible. Watching Christian Bale in a diaper the entire damn movie was not fun.
Fair.
The goats put it over for me.
The goats.
I'm down with the goats and the flick scene.
Okay.
Good with the flick.
I think
You flick too hard, damn it!
I like the Thors though. So I would probably go with Love and Thunder.
You went with Love and Thunder? Okay.
Barely, but
Barely. I agree with that.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Quantumania.
Quantumania.
I think Quantumania for sure.
Wait, you know what? Never mind. Hold up. No, I'd say Quantumania because
Scarlet
Doctor
Witch is
Strange
in there.
I love the Scarlet Witch's portrayal in this thing.
America Vespucci or whatever.
So I
her
did
name was.
like that. I could care less
Chavez.
about that.
Chavez, yeah.
I love the Scarlet Witch's portrayal in this thing. I mean, it was so Stanley Kubrick shining, reminiscent. I was really digging that vibe, but I don't know, man.
She's a more established.
Doctor Strange has been out on Disney Plus for quite a while now, and I haven't put it on one time.
I watched it once,
But
and
if-
that was it.
Quantumania was on, I would have watched it again before we recorded. To refresh my memory,
True.
because I wanted to make sure that a lot of the things, because again, there's so many moments you're taking on the movie, we were like, did that happen? Or like we said with the MODOK, well, thanks for sending me the light. I was like, okay, I completely missed that as the
Yeah.
line that explains how that happened.
Yeah.
And apparently MODOK sucked y'all through, but didn't tell Kang. But that happened. Okay. This let me give you an easy one. Eternals.
Quantumania.
Quantumania.
I never made it
Eternals.
to Eternals.
No, just kidding. Quantumania.
I eternally sleep every time I watch that movie.
And so there you go. They're the Phase 4 movie. So this
Wow.
is
Wow.
it's trending upward. Well, what? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't even see it on here for whatever odd reason. Black Widow.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right,
because
they
Black
released
Widow
it.
was delayed. That
It
was supposed
was.
to be before. I believe it was before a lot of stuff. But
Yeah, I must be looking at a bad list, but I don't see Black Widow. I'm gonna have to go refresh and try and see if I can find a better list. But Black Widow, what say you?
I could take that over Quantumania.
I would too. But to be fair, I haven't. I watched Black Widow a couple times when it got on D Plus, and I haven't watched it since.
Yeah, I watched Black Widow was done in for me because of the fact that they made the movie after the character already died. So you really already
Yeah, it was.
it was a flat movie from the beginning for me.
It got penalized because of COVID because it was released when it wasn't supposed to be released. It was supposed to be released before the end of the last series of movies.
Oh, I didn't know that. It was
Yeah,
supposed to
it
be,
was-
he was supposed to be released for Endgame?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, well, then if that's the case, then yeah, that movie could have gone from a C to like a D to like an a B or something like
If I
that.
remember
Plus-
correctly, it got delayed seriously because of all that. And when it finally got released, it shouldn't have been released.
Wait a minute, it couldn't have been released that low because Avengers Endgame was in a theater, so
Yeah.
COVID wasn't a thing in April of 2019. So no,
But-
it
but
was
next
meant
year,
to be
2020,
released. It was meant to be released after she had already
I have
died.
to look because I remember there was something weird about that.
Well, it was.
Yeah, there might have been, and maybe I'm just
Yeah.
misremembering it.
You're
but
right about something about the
She
the
definitely,
delay.
yeah. There was a delay, and they released it wrong. But there's no way COVID had any impact on the decision of when to release it,
Right.
No,
because Endgame was released in the theaters to good numbers.
I would still take that over. At least Yelena Belova. The family dynamic is still the
Oh,
same.
Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, the family dynamic is still the same if we're going to compare that to the Pim. So you got that, but that movie was a lot more fun when
But
things
the
happen.
villain was crap. Taskmaster. And she turned out to be some girl on the program.
Fair enough.
Yeah, come on.
Master.
Fair enough, but at least when they had their battle was on like a crazy ship that was hitting, you were like, all right, well, people died. Like you didn't have to see like the 450th CGI fight. I mean,
No, you just had to see a base getting destroyed all around them in the middle of an ice field
yeah.
or something. You know what?
I'm ready
No.
I'm ready for Deadpool to enter the MCU. Let's go.
Oh man, well they're already messing up because Ryan Reynolds is already out there saying this is the last one.
there you go.
Superheroes don't go away. There is no last one. The minute Ryan Reynolds walks into my office and says, "Yeah, I'll do another one," but this is the one where we kill him off, I'm like, "Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate everything you've done for the character. We need to recast now."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's the end of this.
That's Buddy, man.
My characters don't die. Batman doesn't die. That just doesn't happen.
Does not happen.
No.
These are mythic
Batman doesn't
characters.
retire. He doesn't die. These are people who are born to be superheroes. That's their job. That's what calls them in life. That's what pushes them forward to go forth and
Conquer.
not conquer.
No, but make history. These characters are, I'm sorry,
to
go
right
ahead.
wrongs, to
Yeah.
help the uniform. It's like signing up for the Marines and being like, I'm going to sign up, but as soon as I'm going to call my shot where I'm leaving. Like, no, you signed up for X amount of years, buddy. We own you. You're going to do this until you don't do it no more.
Right.
That's right.
These tours
Or you
don't
die.
stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are serious mythic characters. They've been around since the 50s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't retire. They don't move on. They either die only to come back a few months later, so that way they can pop a rating on the book, or because their book isn't selling, they're like, we need to refresh this with some young blood.
Well, the MCU doesn't do that, Daddy. The MCU kills them off, and that's it.
Well,
It's done.
and that's why no one is digging what they're selling anymore, because
Yeah.
there's no Tony Stark, there's no Captain America.
That's right.
All these,
Yeah.
they're trying to elevate these lesser characters to step up into this level that they've never earned in the public's eyes,
Yeah.
and that's why
They suck.
we're where we're at. But
Yeah.
that can be a whole another show for another day. I think we need to.
Yes,
I think we
we're
need
done,
to wrap
yes.
this up.
So yeah, that's our thoughts, guys, about Quantumania amongst Marvel and everything else. We're curious to know what you guys think of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and we're about to tell you how to get in touch with us to share your opinions in just a little bit. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed our discussion about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
I did.
It was awesome.
It was a riveting discussion.
beautiful.
happened.
Oh my
Loved
god,
it.
that thing that you said, and
Ah.
then you came with that funny line afterwards.
Yeah, do what you do, what I do.
I was rolling on it. I just rolling on the
Oh,
floor.
laughter. MagicArway.com. You can find everything, guys. Look, if you want to share your opinions about the movie, you can do so through the following ways. Shoot us an email at show@magicarway.com or call or text us at 1-805 a weekend. That's 1-805
Mo Weekend.
669-4226.
I just did that because I wanted to see how fast Kevin could talk.
Yeah. All that stuff's going to be in the show notes, too, guys. So you can do that. And, we got a couple guys do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does things with comics. Sir, what's up?
Yeah, you can always go to the Irish Comics website, so www.irishcomics.com. Check out Savages, Project Geisha, The Molly Be Damned. Of course, a link to the Magic Our Way podcast, so you never miss a review, episode, or whatever. We all link together. Facebook.com. You can find me there, Eli H. Ivory, as long as you're a real person. Nice to meet you, but if you're a bot, cannot greet you. Also on Facebook is Project Geisha. He has our own Facebook page. So Facebook.com/Project Geisha. Instagram right there, posted up the hearts and likes. You should see me right there, EIV504. And of course, unless Elon Musk is taking me off that summer gun, on Twitter I can be found at Hancock 10166. So if you appreciate the madness, you just bring me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And if you want to book a vacation out to Disney California Adventure to see the new Kang walk-around character, you can do it through Lee. Lee, tell them how to do this.
Yeah, you could also
Wait!
visit the
I
new
thought
Super
Lee
Mario
left.
World.
Wait, Lee's not here. Lee left already.
This is
Oh,
another
I'm calling
version of
in
Lee.
from the quantum realm.
Oh.
I'm calling in from the quantum realm.
Okay.
That Lee.
King
Wow.
Lee.
Yeah.
This is a
Quantum
Lee
Lee.
variant.
Yeah, this
It
is
is a
Lee
Lee
King.
variant.
So this one's a knowledgeable travel agent.
Lee Kang? Sounds like a chef.
Lee King. Yeah.
Lee Kang.
All right, Lee Kang. What you got?
All right, so give me a call at 832-431-1621. You can email me at lee@magicourway.com. As always, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Lastovica Travel. That's LASTOVICA Travel. On Instagram, you got a friend in Lee Travel. And on TikTok, you got a friend in Lee. And if you do any of that, we'll get you hooked up and booked up with no.
Quantumania.
In addition, guys, there's so many ways to support the show as a whole, and you can find them all on our website, magicourway.com. Plus, if you want to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, go to patreon.com/Magic Our Way. There you will find 6 awesome tiers to support this show. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are welcome on the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So, my weekends, we say Kwaharini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.